Okay, I was able to about strong so about a Ghana politics avenue. So I was a mura a yen semo. A lawyer Martin Pebu Ababonte Ababe drop a shocking expose against a Paul Adomocha. You see, our Western the case no crana a Paul Adomochre a quaco piumo a quarter. I just a lawyer Martin Pebu ne expose we a shocking judges for na sisi ano Paul Adomochre na so ayeshi ankasana ye bedika aka achre mo se eye Paul Adomochre koko piumo OSP akache ne sisi aye jano Emma next week no obekwa akopie mu of course na court na akwa akopie na no ho nsensem na ebobo ba lawyer Martin Pebu nso se ede sa info no ababetum yensem mremo yenko na yenkonkoti ensem ekọ so subscribe like na share ma afofron so ensa into me enka aha Ghana politics avenue so medamase
beginning with the point Paul Adomochre makes in that video that he put out earlier today, that he did not know about this contract. It is Manasseh Azure that brought his attention to the fact that the MD had actually signed this contract on December 4. And now he has been invited as well to answer questions on us. And I asked you this question, bearing in mind the limitations that we have discussing this, not talking about any sense of guilt or otherwise on this as the OSP is investigating.
That was brought to the board, etc. So now this U-turn that Paul is doing appears to be neither here nor there. But of course, in a court of law, so many other things can come up. So we cannot conclude here. But certainly from what is playing out so far in the public domain, Paul has an uphill task. He has shredded his own case even before, anything gets started in court.
And I want you to kindly reposition so we get a clear connection to you right now. But also, you talk about the fact that he's taking different positions and also taking into consideration what Manasseh Azure has just put out right now. He is consistently maintained, and I'm talking about Paul Adomochre, that this contract, he actually didn't even know the persons behind them. He hasn't met them before. Manasseh Azure says that's false. And then he also maintains that he got to know that this MD, the former MD, signed this contract on December 4 as well. Manasseh Azure is contesting that particular point as well. Counsel.
Yes, absolutely, Mr. Kansi. Absolutely. Nobody is saying for has committed a criminal conduct, a competent jurisdiction that can pronounce him guilty after hearing evidence from both sides. That's including him all himself. Yes, and so the 19 clause 2 of the Constitution 1992, which is at play. Correct. It's also within the rights of citizens to begin to take serious exception, okay, at the fact that even though the case hasn't gone to court, there is evidence in the public domain that Paul had sent Manasseh Azure text messages, right, to confirm that a night before the contract came to the board, Paul Adomochre met the owners of the company to whom he met them, Philly Gadochi. Sometimes let's use the local because the effect of communication. So it is too late in the day for Manasseh not aware of the contract. He cannot blow hot and cold. That is certainly not on. He cannot blow hot and cold. That is not on. That is certainly not on. Not in Ghana. We are too smart for that. He has expressly told Manasseh that he knew about the contract. He knew the owners of the contract, and he met the owners of the contract before the contract came to the board for approval. So it is too late. It's too late. He should go tell that to the Marines. Paul should tell that to the Marines, not to Ghanaians. We are smarter than that. Okay? And so this matter we are discussing is not a matter before any court. It's not sub-judice. We are talking about the fact that he's blowing hot and cold. Blowing hot and cold is not something that has been presented to a court. So we are not injuncted from discussing it. This is information that Manasseh has brought out. Manasseh has replied Paul publicly. And so we are free to discuss it, and we are free to begin to call out Paul.
And I make reference to that particular response by Manasseh Ajayawune consistently because of some of the issues that he raises there. How do you see this case playing out in the coming days, taking into consideration what the special prosecutor himself or the statement from his office detailing the fact that as we speak now, Paul Addo says he doesn't have any landed property in his name of any value in Ghana, and as a result, those bail conditions have so far not been met as far as we do know. As of now, there are any updates, we'll definitely put it out to our viewers and waiting on the special prosecutor to give us those updates. But how do you see things playing out in the coming days?
Yeah, so special prosecutor, look, for the case, for Paul to have been invited, okay, it means that the special prosecutor has already finished with preliminary investigations. Yes, that is what the law governing the special prosecutor requires, that before inviting the person, the special prosecutor first has to conduct preliminary investigations to see if there is any need to call the person. The special prosecutor doesn't start his investigations by straight away calling the alleged suspect. No, the law says he should first conduct some investigations without the alleged suspect to see if there is any basis before he calls the alleged suspect. So for the special prosecutor to invite Paul Addo, it means that that basic threshold has already been cleared. This means that this is a serious case. It is no child's play. It is no child's play at all because the special prosecutor has already cleared one stage of preliminary investigations before calling in Paul. So that preliminary investigation will involve things like at least scrutinizing to see, was there a contract in the first place? Was that contract approved whilst Paul Addo was board chair, etc.? A whole number of things. So this is a very serious case. And let me repeat again, look, even if this case doesn't end up in court, the part where he's already blowing hot and cold, okay, approbating and reprobating is already in the public domain, and that side is finished.
Well, Martin Bebo, appreciate your time on this, and thank you very much for joining us with your thoughts on this matter as well and how things are playing out. We're keeping an eye on the special prosecutor's various avenues of updates on social media and our sources in there as well. If we get any updates on how things are unfolding, Airports Company Limited, Paul Addo, along with two others, are not spending, at least as far as we do know, as of now, they are not at home because they have been detained by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Paul Addo is under investigation in connection with a revenue assurance contract between the Ghana Airports Company Limited and a private firm owned by the proprietor of Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited. Bear that in mind, SML. That's a company that has been embroiled in previous instances with contentious matters as well. That is being investigated by the special prosecutor. And this specifically has to do with one of the 5 issues that the former finance minister, Kenneth Nanayo-Foriata, is being wanted by the special prosecutor. This same SML revenue assurance contract, and that was with in the oils sector. Now, take a look at this statement that the special prosecutor put out not too long ago. It bore the heading, Addo and 2 others detained over Ghana Airports Company Limited contract probe as he fails to meet bail conditions. The Office of the Special Prosecutor has interviewed and formally charged the board chair of the Ghana Airports Company Limited, Paul Addo, and 2 others. However, Mr. Addo has so far been unable to meet his bail conditions. It goes on to say he is required to present 2 landed property of no specific value. And this also you should bear in mind, and we're just going to have a clear understanding of this, because this, the special prosecutor says, present 2 landed property of no specific value registered in his name. However, he has informed the OSP that is Paul Adomatrio, informed the OSP that he does not own a landed property in Ghana of any value. As a result, he remains in custody until bail terms are satisfied. The two other persons are Ochrekwame Bafwewa, the Group Executive Commercial Services at the Ghana Airports Company Limited, and also Albert Ajete Ajay Lai, who is the CEO of DevNest Systems. Adomatrio is under investigation in connection with a revenue assurance contract between the Ghana Airports Company Limited and a private firm owned by the proprietor of Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited. The OSP is examining possible procurement breaches. And take note of the wording of this particular statement by the OSP. They are examining possible procurement breaches, including a sole sourced contract awarded to a company other than the one approved by the Ghana Airports Company Limited board, which Paul Adomatrio is or was the board chair. So that's the crux of the matter now and the basis for what has been happening over the period with the invitation of the special prosecutor to Paul Adomatrio. And he did indicate, in fact, he had publicized the time he was going to visit, or as it were, attend to the invitation of the special prosecutor. It said 3 p.m. My colleague Noble Crosby Annan was stationed at the special prosecutor's office earlier today, right from 3 p.m. when he arrived at the office, as he had publicized, up until after 5 p.m. when darkness began to fall upon the offices of the special prosecutor. It led to what we're seeing now of he not being able to meet the bail conditions. Noble gave us this report as around 7 p.m. When the Office of Special Prosecutor was closed because the staff had finished work and packed out of the place. So it was clear indication that Paul Adomatrio was not in the or at the premises of the special prosecutor as of the time that this report was done by Noble Crosby Annan. Take a look.
It's been quite an afternoon here at the office of the special prosecutor. That is the building where it all happened at. Paul Adomatrio arrived here at the office of the special prosecutor at exactly 2:50 p.m. for the meeting that was scheduled for 3 p.m. Now, he was in the company of two of his lawyers. So 3 people entered through the main gate of the office of the special prosecutor and then walked into the reception where the media was not allowed beyond the main gate of the office of the special prosecutor. Paul Adomatrio was, if you like, escorted out, or he came out of the building at around 6:30 p.m. So we're talking about some close to 4 hours of interrogation. We understand the issues were quite a number, so it took quite some time. That is how come it was about close to 4 hours interrogation that happened at the office of the special prosecutor. When Paul Adomatrio entered, we didn't hear any word, we didn't hear any communication. He didn't engage with the media before he entered the building. The office of the special prosecutor and their representatives also did not speak with the media ahead of this close to 4-hour interrogation. So at around 6:30, we suspected that Paul Adomatrio was about to be escorted out of the building. Now, you can see the building of the office of the special prosecutor. We got to know that he was about to be escorted out because there are some openings or some windows on the building, and we saw that there was some peeping through of the window. Our thinking is that some officials were gauging the mood of the place to know whether journalists were still around. When they got to know the journalists were around, now what we suspect happened because of what we saw is that the vehicle Paul Adomatrio came in was moved in a certain way to allow him enter the vehicle without the media knowing that he was entering the vehicle. So in total, 3 vehicles drove out of the office of the special prosecutor at 6:30. What happened was the first vehicle was a police vehicle. Now, we don't know who was in the police vehicle, but it was using its sirens on top speed, and it drove out of the office of the special prosecutor. The second vehicle followed closely. Mind you, the second vehicle was the vehicle that Paul Addo and his lawyers came with. So we saw that two of his lawyers sat in that second vehicle. We don't know whether Paul Addo was in the vehicle before the two lawyers got to the vehicle or not. So that vehicle also followed the police vehicle that had earlier left the building. And following immediately was also another vehicle. Now, the thinking is that that vehicle belongs to the office of the special prosecutor. So three vehicles left the place. Now, it happened like that on the blind side of the media, because around that time, that was when the police officers or the security officers stationed at the gate of the office of the special prosecutor, they began acting deviously. So they, came at the media, trying to push the media away, sack the media. And that indicated the thinking, that indicated that, it was about to be transported from the office of the special prosecutor to wherever they have taken him to. At the moment, we don't know where Paul Addo has been taken to. In one of the three vehicles that left the office of the special prosecutor, the thinking is he was in the first one, the second one was that of his lawyers, and the third was that of the special prosecutor. Paul Addo left the office of the special prosecutor at 6:30 p.m. after he arrived here at 2:50 p.m.
So that's the earlier report that Noble Crosby and put out. That's around 7 p.m. Just to give us an idea of how things were at the time at the Special Prosecutor's office. But the Special Prosecutor's statement has a number of sticky points that gives us an idea of how things are playing out right now. One is that, yes, the Special Prosecutor interviewed Paul Addo and the two others. Paul Addo has, and the second point is that Paul Addo has been charged. The third point is that Paul Addo has so far been unable to meet his bail conditions. Now, the fourth sticky point that you must take note of, that he is required to present two landed properties of no specific value registered in his name. But then it stands to reason that the only reason why Paul Addo is still, from what information we're getting from the sources close in there, is that he's not been able to meet this bail condition, reason being that he says he does not have any landed property in Ghana in his name. As a result, he remains in custody until the bail conditions are satisfied. Now, what we do not know is whether or not some persons would come in to stand surety for him, or the night will be passed at wherever he is, apart from home. That is what is playing out right now. But he has indicated, based on the special prosecutor's statement, that he says, I do not have any landed property in Ghana of no specific value. I don't have any land property in my name. So as a result, he is in custody until he meets that bail condition. But if you recall, we woke up to a statement. In fact, there was also a video to that effect by Paul Addo. He had recorded an episode of his program to respond to some of the issues that the special prosecutor, he thought the special prosecutor was going to invite him based on that particular indication that he got yesterday. At least from what we do know, he has mentioned that, one, he didn't know that there was any contract that had been signed with this said company. Two, it was Manasseh Azere-Awene who even told him that the MD of the Ghana Airports Company Limited had signed this contract. He didn't know about it. And take note of the date of the contract signed, on the 3rd of December 2024. This was some 3 clear days. In fact, that's on the 4th of December, 3 clear days to December 7, 2024. And then also, he indicates that no money has been lost and no money was paid. This is his account of the reasons why he says the OSP is on a path of witch hunt. Take a look.
Okay, abusia wini ensema ekoso e political highway. So lawyer Martin Pebu and I attending kase on this ensem no to the ano Paul Adom Ochre ne scandal ya ababonte a OSP etoninsa e de frɛ no neoma bebre boboba free enchen. Ye beda mase samoje pene kokoti sa ensem we e de mai aha Ghana Politics Avenue. So unsubscribe subscribe like and share my afofro so ensa into me and don't forget to click on the notification bell so never any updates be able drop piano also on sa able to me aka medamase.